I'm weak for all things romance in anime. There is something about watching two people develop genuine feelings for each other that warms my heart to the core. Is it because I'm lonely? Probably. But due to this near obsession with romance shows, I've gotten to experience some of the best romantic stories out there in the anime space. I've gotten into countless arguments about best girl, and I've shed my fair share of tears for those not so happy endings. So when the new anime season rolls around, I find myself browsing the romance section first, and this winter I found some decently good ones. Along the usual suspects, something piqued my interest. There was a show called The Angel Next Door Spoils Me Rotten. While looking it up, it seemed like a stereotypical itchy romance with the loner boy living next door to the beautiful girl going to the same school. But to my surprise, every single review of the manga described it as a heartwarming and wholesome experience. So without spoiling the story for myself, I dropped the manga and started following the anime. As of writing this video, there are 6 episodes released, and it's on the way to be one of my favorite romances in a long time. Amine is not a shut-in, but he likes to keep to himself. Although he may look antisocial, in reality he can be pretty decent with people. A rainy day after school, he finds a distressed girl sitting in the rain. Realizing it's one of the most popular girls in his school, he contemplates ignoring it, but due to his good nature, he comes over and hands her his umbrella. He lives in a student apartment complex and is quite messy of himself. And the girl he just gave his umbrella to, Sheena, lives right next door. To return the favor, she gives him leftover dinner from her place, as he caught a cold due to being out in the rain. Realizing Amane has no ill intent, unlike other boys at school, Sheena starts helping Amane out more and more often. And from that point, we get to follow one of the most wholesome stories of two students enjoying each other's company, helping each other out, and slowly but surely building up a beautiful relationship between the two. And this is a thing I want to touch on, a relationship without stakes. It's quite well known that many romance anime can come off as quite cliché, from accidental flashing to tripping over and falling over each other. We've all seen it, and sure, this can be entertaining at times, but I find the best romances are the ones where romantic moments don't happen by accident, but where two people can experience connection to the other without the need of the world around them putting them in that situation. It's the courage to ask someone out, to plan a date, to miss someone, and the feeling of wanting to be with each other. That is what makes the greatest romance stories. Think Horimiya, well known for being one of the better romances without needing much of any itchy to make it. Just as I first thought of the angel next door, Horimiya can come off as a very stereotypical, oh, the 10 out of 10 girl is dating the nerd. And you wouldn't be wrong in saying so, but as much as that is the case, the characters we are presented with break out of the box and present themselves as some of the most interesting personalities I've got the pleasure of watching. They don't rely on cheap tricks or situations to develop their love. They just hang out often, get to know each other, develop a loving friendship, share interests, and on. And it comes down so naturally and passionately, it warms your heart when watching. And this is exactly how I feel about the Angel Next Door too. Although not with as many side stories as Horimiya, this show has never made me think a cute moment between the two seemed forced or not deserved. They are both open to the other about experiences, their stance on their friendship, and they respect each other's boundaries. This last point about boundaries is especially important, because in situations where romance take the turn of using accident or itchy, it's in a way that they unwillingly cross someone's boundaries. Sure, it works out, because that's the point of the situation in the first place, but it's so far from realistic feelings it feels like a cheap trick. You feel cheated out on a moment that could have had so much more meaning just because two characters are so stuck up that they can't have a romantic moment without the story forcing them to. And it aggravates me sometimes and puts me off a lot of harem shows for that exact reason. And here's where my appreciation for a show like The Angel Next Door comes in. It's not the first nor the best at doing this, but it's a breath of fresh air in a sometimes very toxic environment. It's not rare to find romance shows at all, but it's rare for one to be this respectful and clean. And look, I'm not out here saying harem shows all belong in hell. I am too enjoy my fair share of them. But to me, watching a romance show and an ecchi show or harem are two totally different feelings, even if they both are categorized as a romance. Harem is entertaining, a bit comedic, and a more fun take on romance. You should not take it too seriously, because then you won't enjoy the show for what it is. On the other hand, watching a pure romance takes quite a bit of effort. You really need to find yourself in their situations, listen to the interactions, and try to immerse yourself into the story. It can be a difficult thing to take a show so seriously, but I truly think that leads to the best possible experience with these kinds of shows. With this, I don't mean that you need to sit and sweat over the show, of course, but to be open to it and you'll find yourself on a roller coaster of happy emotions. I'm a little sad over the fact that they currently hide their friendship from the rest of the school, but there is a good reason to. If all find out they cook, clean, and shop together, rumors will spread like wildfire, ruining the calm and wholesome vibe that we currently get. I can see this becoming a plot relevant situation in the future, but I'm happy they get to develop their friendship before inviting others to watch. When they slowly let out their secret to their close friends, we get to see some of just that, small teasing, calling them a couple, etc. And this is fun and all because they are close friends. But then imagine 100 strangers doing the same thing for a whole school day, every day for who know how long. Just the thought of it is exhausting, and they would no longer be able to have this relaxed and slow progression as the world around them forced them into one or the other direction. The show is to its core incredibly simple, but it does what it set out to do so damn well, and I couldn't be happier that others agree from reading ratings and reviews, and I hope me casting some more light on it will encourage more people to give it a try. Shows this wholesome are rare, but when they show up they are always loved. If this is your cup of tea, make sure you don't miss out on what I think will be one of the best romances this year. Thank you for watching.